right, 6 o'clock. Let's bring the regular meeting of Dune City Council Wednesday, January 9th to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilor, Mayor Robert Forsythe,
Here.
Council President Sheldon Meyer,
Present.
Councilor Dick Wells,
Here.
Councilor Susan Snow, here, Councilor Tom Allen,
Here.
Councilor Bob Orr.
Here.
Did I miss anybody?
Alan.
And for the record, Alan Montgomery called in. He is in California and won't be able to make it. I told him to drive faster.
Please. That's right. Jump to mudslide and be. All right, if you'll please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Oh, go ahead. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Point of order,
Oh, yes.
there are amended bills of the session.
Yes.
Yes, got it. Including the amended bill.
So moved.
All right. Excellent. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Correspondence announcements. Jamie, you want to do that, please?
Certainly. Water testing by the Oregon Health Authority determined the levels of cyanobacteria in Silcoos Lake are now at acceptable levels, and they've lifted all warnings. The mayor and members of the city council will be meeting with Senator Arnie Roblin and Representative Kathy McEwen on Friday, January 11th at 10 a.m. at City Hall to discuss the shared revenues issue and other issues of concern to the city. City Hall will be closed Monday, January 21st in honor of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. The Planning Commission is scheduled to continue their review of Title 15 at their meeting on January 24th at 5 o'clock p.m. And the annual goal-setting session for the City Council is scheduled for Wednesday, February 13th at 4 o'clock p.m.
Thank you very much. Citizen input. What do we have? All right. Is it Phil Grace?
Close enough.
Close enough?
My wife and I are new residents of Dune City. We're in the process of building a home on Jensen Lane. We're fortunate enough to have found a lot that's waterfront, and we're unfortunate enough to be observing the blue-green algae in the cove. Delighted to hear Jamie talk about the fact that the Oregon Water Authority said that it's now good, but we still have a very distinct green bloom. Being a recently retired and having time to do some research, I thought I'd take a look into what treatments are available, because it seems to be everybody waits until it goes away. There is a treatment where they can spray chemicals and copper and stuff, none of which is satisfactory, and I wouldn't recommend doing any of them. But my research caused me to find that in Europe there are treatments. It turns out that you can treat it with ultrasonics. I've been in touch with a company in Britain, where you can possibly tell I've got a certain background, who have designed and developed and are in production of such equipment. Cyanobacteria is a monoculture, it's a monocell. It's like a little sac. It floats in the water, it's at least 300 million years old, maybe 400 million years old, so it's not like it's a new problem. And it generates a lot of oxygen, which is probably why there are now mammals roaming the planet. So it's not like you can just get rid of it. It's going to be around forever. But the way it operates is it, being a single cell, when it's close to the surface, photosynthesis, the warmth and sunlight, cause it to create oxygen through photosynthesis, which is good for us. But when the temperature cools off at night, it sinks down into the lower depths of the water, where it feeds on stuff in the bottom, and it generates CO2 and methane. So, one way to cure it, or to eradicate it, is to stop it from being able to go up and down. And the way it goes up and down is as it produces gases, the outgases, it uses those to fill the little sac so it floats up. And when it gets cold, it shrinks that sucker down and it goes down. What the ultrasonics do is they attack the little balloons, if you like, and they rupture. At that point, they sink to the bottom, they rot, they may turn brown and float to the surface, then eventually they rot enough, they go back to the bottom and they're finished. It's a fairly simple process. It does require some equipment that operates at certain frequencies, and it's patented technology and so forth. There is nobody that I can find in the US currently marketing or producing anything similar. I spoke to the British company. They would be interested in collaborating with me, us, or whomever in conducting an installation here. They would be interested in establishing some credibility, if you like, in the US that might enable them to establish a distributorship and so forth, and market their products in the USA. So they're looking for, if you like, a reference site. They do have one client in Florida currently, finding it hard to get feedback. The issue is the emitters are positioned in the water. They can be attached to floats or they can be attached to a post. They're typically installed close to the water surface, but some inches, 6, 8, 10 inches below the water surface. They're obviously electrically powered, which can be by solar or by electricity from a shoreline somewhere. They have come in several different sizes, and they will transmit successfully up to 600 feet. They do not affect wildlife at all. Fish or any living creature swimming around in the water will survive. In fact, they are used extensively in fisheries in Europe for just the purpose of solving the problem of the algae consuming the oxygen, which in turn kills the fish. They do not harm regular plants, so the lilies and so forth growing in the lake will not be affected either. So it seems to be a fairly potentially helpful solution. Now, we have a very large lake in Silk Coast, and obviously it would take hundreds of these to treat the whole lake, but one doesn't need to do that. One can address the areas where we are experiencing the worst problems, which is going to be where you're going to get runoff and bacteria can feed on it, or in areas where, because of low circulation, like coves or areas of the lake where the wind doesn't get in and disturb the stuff, the accumulations occur. And it just happens that I live on a cove. I've not mentioned this to Jamie because I didn't want to get her in conflict of interest, but she lives on the other side of the cove. So, and I haven't mentioned it to Bob, who lives up Jensen Lane either. So this is just off the top of my head, bringing up an issue, looking for feedback, the potential perhaps to approach the state, because I think this is probably a state issue, and if there's any funding to come from, maybe they will issue grants, or maybe they have some budget somewhere. I know we don't. I just wanted to make you aware of it, that there is a potential solution that could be used. And for example, on the cove where we live, the manufacturers in Britain say one emitter could effectively treat that entire cove. Right? You could just easily have two of them crosswise and so forth. I've asked them more technical questions about whether one could array a string of these, whether you could migrate them across the lake and sort of sweep and clean up. Don't have answers on that yet. I just want to bring it to your attention. I'd like some reaction back on what, if anything, Dune City Council could do about it. I'm certainly prepared to continue to act as a go-between or a liaison with the UK. And I'm a technologist, and by background I've had my own engineering companies. I'd even entertain setting up and installing the first one in our cove. So.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it does.
And is it Phil? Is it Phil?
Yes, one thing I didn't mention is nobody asked the question on cost, and that's going to come up quickly.
Yeah.
The price for each installation, which would amount to an emitter or emitter pair and the associated electronics, one should look in terms of $1,000 to $1,500 per, which is pretty inexpensive.
Thank you. Yeah, I, for one, would like to hear a lot more of it. I'd like to see what, if you've got any written information.
Sorry,
Great, that's all right.
I got an update from Microsoft today, which meant my printer would not communicate with the computer any longer. I managed to print
does that
out
on
one
a daily
page
basis.
from a data sheet.
Excellent.
I have a lot more information which I could email to you or send to Jane.
Thank you. Excellent. Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure.
Very
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, because I think it's something well worth looking into, and we'll certainly, I think we'll talk about it further, but I think we'll get into looking deeper into it. I think it's a great idea. I'm with you. I didn't think we could do anything about it. Except drain the pond and bring in the goats and let them
Sheldon wants to come up with that idea.
Yeah, he did. I didn't want him to take all the credit. Thank you again, Phil. Bonnie Allen? I knew I saw you.
Hello. I have just a sort of softball question for you guys, and you don't have to answer it today. I don't want to put anyone on the spot. But I look at item 7, and it says citizen input on items not listed on the agenda.
Correct.
And it has never been clear to me, and it may not be clear to others as well, where is the opportunity for citizen input for items on the agenda?
To get it on the agenda.
No,
Right.
we're quite good, I think, at circulating the agenda,
Mhm.
and people come and they have an interest, but item 7, which is citizen input, is just our opportunity to speak about items not on the agenda. So where is our opportunity to speak about items on the agenda?
Usually, my experience working with, the only time I've worked is worked with Florence, and they have the same kind of thing. And they'll do a little, like we just did with Phil, but they don't do any real one-on-one until we find that there's enough public thought process or want to talk about it, and then we'll put together those town hall meetings or other meetings to talk about one or two topics like we have in the past. And I think I've always thought it was kind of an odd thing to have in it, but it's something that we're pulling from state, and municipality process for your agendas. And it does seem kind of odd, and it may have been, don't know, I don't have that great experience, but it may have been from where you get into, like Lane County gets into these 3 and 4 hour discussions on a topic, and then the rest of their agenda never gets attacked. So I don't know if that's where, I don't know the history behind it, but I think what we've done, as soon as we've seen, oh, wait a minute, we need input from people, as we end up having a town meeting or a special meeting, get everybody in and sit down and talk about it. So maybe we need to figure out how to take that and send it to people so that we can get that input and go, you know what, let's have a special meeting and sit down and talk about that topic or this topic, or a couple that have been on with a lot of people.
Well, I would appreciate clarification
Yeah.
of how we might participate in agenda
Yeah, I
items.
think that's a good idea.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah.
My thought was that if the agenda is disseminated, and therefore someone wants to comment about something on the agenda, then it's implied, at least in item 7, to me, that one could comment on stuff on the agenda as well as off the agenda.
We haven't been too strict about it, but I think it's worthy. I think, Bonnie, thank you for bringing it up. I think it's worthy that we get that clarification and make sure that we're not stubbing our toes on something that is.
Well, when there is an issue that's a public hearing that we're required to take public input, of course, it's a public hearing.
Right.
But, for example, let's say tonight Bonnie had something she just burning wanted to tell you about item F, social media opportunities.
Right.
Is it so wrong for you to ask? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this
And
issue.
so that we could create a public hearing right as we speak.
Well, it's not really a public hearing because, but it's just, yeah, it's a give and take information in.
I don't know. I honestly
you
do
know-
not know about, we need to find out.
And like you said, if a whole bunch of people say, well, I do,
Yeah,
then maybe we do say, okay, not tonight, we'll schedule something special.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
yeah, let's see what you can find out for us, and so that we can set it up, because it really needs to be done. I mean, we need to talk about these things. It's always seemed odd to me as well,
Mhm.
you know, but I'm just thinking there has to be a reason for it, because other cities and other counties, I've seen it, and they have the same thing on their agendas. But I never stood back and said, well, why?
Or what,
You know.
what's the chance? So,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think it's implied that you can.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Just change the language to.
It might be, but we need to find out so that we're not doing something
That's what I've always
out
thought.
of, you know. Right. What's up tonight?
Well, I have 3 minutes and I have 3 items, so that means I'm gonna take a minute on each one.
I don't know, you
First
talk
off-
that fast.
I live at 4910 Darling's Loop, and I have been complaining, and we've been complaining about the amount of deer there. And I've been concerned about it, we've also been concerned about people feeding the deer. Well, the herd's being culled, there's, next door to me, 2 deer have been killed by cougar in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That's just information. The other thing is, do you guys take donations for a battery clock to put up there so the public can see the time instead of you guys? So we can kind
But
of.
they can't see that clock either, the glare.
I can't tell you what time it is right now, that's why.
So if I would be glad to go and donate quite a bit over there.
It's kind of like Vegas, we don't want you to leave.
And the other thing I have, it's kind of on the agenda, can the public attend your Friday meeting that you're gonna have with,
Yeah. Any,
absolutely.
Well,
That's what I want to ask.
any meeting that we have
I
that's
thought that was-
publicized is absolutely to be there. The only thing we can't do is executive sessions, I think. Everything else we can, right?
Right.
I thought that was true, but I thought I wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely.
That's,
Go
I
ahead.
did less than a minute, didn't I, or 2 minutes?
Yeah, you can
Or
sit here for
sit
another
on-
couple minutes if you like. Any, heard any good jokes lately?
Yeah, but I can't.
All right.
I can tell you my time joke.
Oh, jeez.
There was a city councilor contemplating life and driving out in the country, and he pulled off the road and was looking across the field, and here was a farmer that had a pig, and he'd hold the pig up to an apple tree and let it eat an apple and bring it down, and go do the same thing all over again. And finally his curiosity got to him, and he got in the car, drove around, and got out and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Farmer, but I noticed that you hold the pig up to an apple tree and let it eat an apple and bring it down. Wouldn't it save a lot of time if you just pick the apples and put them on the ground?" And the farmer looked at this counselor and said, "What's time to a pig?"
All right.
All right, moving on. Public hearing, none. All right, swearing in. What, mayor and city council members.
I believe we will have the swearing in of the mayor first.
Do I have to?
You should have the paperwork in your hand.
Go down here, up here?
Down here.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember pictures, but this is the only camera I have. Oh, no, it's kind of yours.
We do have room for a clock.
Yeah.
You put two there, I think I've got
On each side.
Going digital or, you know?
Raise your right hand, Mayor, and repeat after me.
Yeah.
I, Robert Forsythe,
I, Robert
do
Forsythe,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
I will uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution and law of the state of Oregon,
the Charter and codes of the City of Dune City,
the charter and codes of the city of Dune City,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of mayor to the best of my ability,
of mayor to the best of my ability,
so long as I am in office.
so long as I am in office.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do all the others together at the same time.
Do you want to do them all at the same time?
Yeah.
Sure.
So we have Counselor Sheldon Meyer, Counselor Duke Wells, Counselor Susan Snow,
We just don't get the loud one.
Stand over here so I can photo bomb on you.
In your case, it's okay,
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. We'll start on this side. I, Duke Wells.
I, Duke Wells.
I, Sheldon Meyer.
I, Sheldon Meyer.
I, Susan Snow.
I, Susan Snow.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
that I will defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Oregon,
the Charter and codes of the City of Dune City,
the Charter and Code of the City of Dune City,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of City Councilor
the duties of City Councilor
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so long as I'm in office.
as long as I'm in office.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yes. And I'll have you guys sign these at the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome.
All right, next is to elect a city council president. Presently, it's Councilor Meyer.
Here, here.
That's what I was going to ask. I thought that was coming, but.
I hear a train coming.
Do we need a nomination?
I believe we do, or at least a motion.
Okay, well, I nominate or move to appoint Sheldon Meyer as president of the council.
Second.
Any discussion specifically from you?
Well, I have a lot of business cards already printed, so
I guess we should ask that first.
save some money.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, you're still in it. Appointment of Water Quality Committee Chairman. Isn't that you?
It has been. And
Oh, it's your lucky night.
I would like to pass that baton.
You would like to pass that one?
Yeah, I'm thinking that, being the president of the council is
Enough?
enough a specific role, and especially when you don't show up and
Yeah.
those kinds of things. I'm not trying to shirk any responsibilities, but I think it would be a wonderful opportunity for someone else to get involved in water quality. And I was thinking someone who might live on Silkus would be.
Somebody has lived on Silkus.
Well, I think Susan lives on
I live on
Silkus
Silkus.
as well.
Anyone like to volunteer? Let's put it that way.
What's involved?
Being over having a meeting once in a while with the water quality and making sure that they're doing their jobs and doing the testing, and then reporting on a monthly basis as to what the water quality report was for both Silkus and Wohink. And I've got copies of all of the ones from years past and those kinds of things. So it's not overly involved, but I think given the new input tonight from this sort of stuff, it might be a real boon to have some real fresh blood and ideas involved in it.
How long do the meetings normally last?
Half hour, maybe.
Okay, so it's not a,
Not an
Huge
every
time.
month, not an every, no.
Okay.
We've had really good reporting and really good testing, and, it's like the report earlier that if the state gets involved because it's failing, then, they take over and do the testing. You have to have 2 successful tests in a row to make sure that, that the toxins are gone and all. So,
either one of you like to do that?
I'm overbooked at the moment. I'm just concerned about my time.
Okay.
That's the big issue. I mean, I know we need somebody to do it, and if necessary, but Susan, are you interested?
I'm interested. I can try it.
Okay, all right, let's do that.
James.
Do we need a motion? Do we need a
Yes,
motion?
yes.
Rick?
Yeah.
Yes.
I make a motion to appoint Susan Snow as Water Quality Committee Chairman.
Second.
Any discussion on the topic? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Planning Commission member, do we have 2
We have-
openings, 1 opening?
We have 1 opening on the planning commission.
Okay,
We have an individual who has resigned all other duties with regard to associated with the planning commission, but except his position on the planning commission. So we don't really know, we weren't able to get a hold of him, so we don't really know if he wants to continue on the planning
Oh, I see.
commission or not.
Uh-huh.
The first application we received, just for your information, was from Mr. Bench. And actually, Jamie Gorder has also applied for the budget committee, but that hasn't been agendized, so I'll have to put that
Right.
on next month. But I can see, I really do have this gut feeling that maybe there will be another opening soon.
Is there a limitation to the amount of people on the,
Yes,
there is?
yes.
Okay.
Planning commission is one of the committees, well, one of the commissions that is actually covered by state law.
Oh.
Like budget, it's all state law, so there are certain things you can and cannot do.
First, I'd like to declare that Jamie Gorder is my daughter-in-law. And second thing, I think this is gonna fall into, if we have one position and two people, I know Jamie, but I don't know Mr. Bench. And reading his resume, I don't know if anybody else here really knows Mr. Bench. I think that,
I have to say, that is my brother.
oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Mr. Bench.
I think we need to do this the same way we did the vacant city council. I think we need to interview each one,
Come and,
yeah, instead of the normal process, because we normally don't have this problem with not enough room, so.
Or enough volunteers.
It's
Never-
a rare
never a
problem.
Which
problem.
it is a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea, and if you know sooner,
right.
If there are
and
two,
Then that will,
then
no
we can do
problem,
that.
yeah.
Excellent. All right, I think that's a good idea. Anybody have any problem with postponing until we meet with the folks, or until we determine that there are two open spots?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Do you need a motion for table? No, we're good.
Schedule town meeting, failed ballot measure. Okay, we've already talked about, we have scheduled a meeting for Friday. Is that the same thing? Yes?
No, it's not, because the meeting Friday does involve, but
Oh.
it can be.
Yeah. Actually, it might be a good idea to schedule a town hall meeting after Friday's meeting so that we can invite everybody and tell them what came out of that meeting. Okay. We're meeting Friday.
There should be a calendar in your packet.
Let's see, got it.
I don't know if there's one in mine, because there isn't anybody else's.
Friday's the 11th, so, what day of the week, have you ever paid attention to what day of the week our best representation of people coming to a town hall meeting is?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I just thought of that, and I forgot to even mention that we probably had to pay attention.
We could offer free wine and beer and get a great
I was
turnout.
gonna say banquet.
Free wine and beer might be a problem.
Yeah.
The Friday morning meeting being attended by our representative and our senator are at their request,
Right.
their timing. And that was the only opening they had, as I recall.
Correct.
That's correct.
So,
So a town hall meeting though, after that, at some point to,
then, yeah.
I assume it's better at night for participation. Maybe we do it at another 6 o'clock meeting, that gives people time to get home from work, and then do it, Wednesdays seem to be good, so, like the 16th or the 23rd, or, Bob, what about you?
Personally, there's a school board meeting next Wednesday. I'd much prefer not to have it conflict with that.
Good, all right, 23rd works for you?
23rd works just fine for me.
Anybody have a problem with the 23rd?
I have an 8 o'clock Boy Scout meeting.
Okay, well, that's fine. Town hall meeting shouldn't be a problem, because you're here at 6 and then probably be done by the time, if not, you can always leave. Okay. Anybody else?
Good.
23rd at 6, town hall meeting, right?
Yeah, does that work? Jamie, you guys?
That's fine with us.
That's this month, right?
Yes, January the 23rd, 6 PM. I wish I was better at this.
And I will try very hard to change the 18 to 19 on everything.
Oh, yeah.
You have to watch them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. Social media opportunities?
If I may.
Sure, please.
Some residents have mentioned that it would be great if we had a Facebook page or a Twitter account or any of those things. And I know that the city of Florence does, and
Yes.
they're monitored regularly. But I've never really posed that question to the council, if that was something you wanted to see, didn't want to see, were concerned about. And maybe this discussion would be better had during goal setting. But I wanted to throw that out there and let you start chewing on that a little bit. It's not like I'm ready to bounce right out there and set up a Facebook page, because I'm not.
Yeah, and it's not an area that I have any familiarity with at all, other than Facebook. I mean, but Twitter, I have no clue.
I don't either, but, that's just because I don't doesn't mean I do.
Tissue juice.
Yeah, evidently, but it's like, I'm not sure I want to go on that. There's some pretty nasty people on that, from what I glean. It's bad enough face to face, the opportunity to say something behind the screen. Yeah, we probably ought to have it, but I would suspect that we probably ought to have somebody in the room talk to us that even understands what a Twitter is.
Well, maybe I could ask Megan, who does handle.
Oh, true, yeah.
And so
Have her come and.
have her come talk and perhaps talk about the difficulties and the advantages that she has found in her experience.
Is there,
So it's almost a 24/7, you have to respond when somebody puts something out there. And so do you have someone available that's gonna be monitoring that Facebook site to respond and trust that that person's gonna respond appropriately? It becomes a really big gray area. That someone can keep their personal feelings if it turns into some kind of bashing of, council or the water quality. And
Would you like,
it becomes,
would you like me to talk to Megan and see if she would be available?
yeah, since she's been doing it for the city, but
Right.
that doesn't sound good from the start.
No, as the person who'd probably be doing this, I don't want my own Facebook account.
well, and keep in mind, Megan is the City of Florence's public information officer, and so there was training that went behind
Oh, I see.
knowing what she needed to
Do. for-
release that was gonna get a more positive feedback and not create animosity.
Well, as long as it's not me, I think we're good. Duke is questionable as well.
I'll take it.
No, Duke does not respond on Facebook. No.
No.
Okay.
All right, good. Executive session, none. Old business, none. Geez, this was a short evening. Phil, you got more you want to talk about?
As a computer geek, going back to the 1960s,
Oh,
and
geez.
having spent many years addressing the support issues on computers, I would strongly recommend you do not get a Twitter account because you do not have the resources.
Correct.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You don't have the budget. It's a full-time occupation of someone who knows what they're doing.
Oh, and that's why.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to,
I would like to hear about it though, just because I didn't even know. And from dealing with grandkids, it's like,
There's a lot of benefits. I mean, what a way to get the triathlon out there and have people share it and the word spread. There's
Right.
lots of benefits.
right.
It's
But,
just,
but
it's,
you can do that on an event-by-event basis,
Oh, that's true too.
correct,
which would be a better way to handle something like the marathon.
correct.
Have
Good idea.
specialists on it.
We do, but not,
Well,
yeah, exactly.
we do it, we don't do it
And
well.
Blair does, and they do much better
Yeah.
than we do, but they have those circles and contexts.
Sweet.
My only comment is, how well do we keep our website up?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what, we don't even do our website well.
Right.
That's not a comment, it's because it's documentation that needs
Right.
updated, and my experience with some of the Facebook things is pretty active too. It is a
Full-time job.
Interesting, but, thanks. Mayor's report, I don't have a report. don't have a report specifically, and I've been under the weather for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, so I haven't been out there doing a whole lot of stuff. How about Councilor Wells?
Well, in goal setting, I was gonna ask Jamie and the staff what they'd like to see done this upcoming year in City Hall or in the office or something. That's what I'm looking forward to in goal setting. So,
Water quality report.
Maybe gave him that earlier.
Yeah. Public Works.
One thing, we got the check for the grant, that we got reimbursed the $49,998.23 from the state. Yay,
That 23 cents is important.
that's right.
It's a chunk of change for this city.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. And during the windstorm, I have to, while I was gone, Rapunzel was kind enough to cover for the emergency phone
Right.
and response. During the windstorm, I believe it was on a Friday or a Saturday that,
It was a Monday.
it was a Monday. 3 trees went down blocking roadways. Rapunzel handled it very well, got a hold of Richard and his crew, which basically is his wife and his son, went out and cleared the trees from the roadways, opened the roads up, got it all clean, swept the roads, and they handled it beautifully. So I have a huge, huge debt of gratitude to Rapunzel and to Richard for doing such a fine job in my absence.
One night we had electricity go out. Do we know what that was about? Did anybody, I mean, just in general?
Only some people had electricity.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, but during the storm, yes, electricity was out at City Hall for, well, Rapunzel, because I called in, and then Rapunzel was letting me know what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know why it went out. That was the Friday before Christmas, I think.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, and I don't know why.
The utility, Lincoln Utility, had a tree take out power supplies to the east of Florence, and it tripped some of the circuit breakers. So that probably is what affected here, because we're currently living in the north end, and our power was only out for minutes, but an area around us was out much more. It was on the evening news.
There's a tree limb went down out here too, and took out the power in the west end.
Oh, okay, because I live right behind Darwin, so that's probably ours. Good news was, I know that my automatic generator worked. And I saw you you weren't able to attend the
Right, did not attend.
services. And then so, administration, report planning staff.
Happy New Year, everyone. December was a busy month. We had one electrical permit issued, and that was it. Nothing else. The advisory was lifted on the blue-green algae bloom. We got the check from ODOT. Thank you to Rapunzel. And staff did a fabulous job while I was gone. Everything seemed to be handled professionally and correctly, and I'm very pleased. It is nice to know that I can have that kind of tension lifted off my shoulders, knowing I can count on my staff. They are very, very good.
So were you under the impression you were actually here in Oakland?
Well, I called a couple of days.
But she had her phone forwarded to.
Well, that could be.
Whatever worked.
I didn't receive any complaints.
There you go.
Let's put it that way.
All right.
I have nothing but positive emails and response to everything that was done while I was gone.
Always good to know. Thank you, Rapunzel.
I do have something for the good of the order when you get there.
Okay, good at the order. You can start off then.
All right. For those on the budget committee, you're probably more aware than anybody else, but the whole internet, telephone, long distance thing has been a debacle, and copies and fax and all that in the office that has, in my opinion, had, over the last years, charged the city way more than they should have. So I consulted with a firm. They came in, we went through everything. We went through the phone, the copy machine, the internet, all that thing. And we have come up with a contract and a plan of action that appears that it will save the city a minimum of $1,200 a month.
Wow.
So I would like permission to sign the contract with them to move forward and get this implemented, or not. I can tell them to go ahead. I have the contract here so that you can see it, but, or we can wait. It's just, it takes several months to get the machines in and all that stuff, and he's just anxious to order it, but we can put it off another month if you feel more comfortable.
Who was the previous provider?
The previous provider was National Photocopy. And National Photocopy handled the copy machine. The fax machine is that old machine in there that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. The
Internet though.
The internet is Charter, and that is negotiated with our franchise fee. The telephone is through CenturyLink. It's $300, and it's now gone up to $312 a month, and it doesn't include long distance. So we also have MCI that we pay for long distance. And it's just absurd. It's absolutely absurd, and I think we will end up saving more than what they've guesstimated, because they're being very conservative in their estimates. I really do think that it will be less than what we will save more than what they're saying.
The name of the company is what?
This is Pacific Office Automation. They are a nationwide company. They handle City of Florence, they handle the school district in Florence, lots of stuff in Coos Bay, the hospital in Coos Bay, all kinds of things like that. They're a good, reliable company, not that the other one wasn't. The other one was reliable as well. They handle Konica just like the other company did. They're proposing a faster copy machine for us, which on days when we have packets that are this big would be most appreciated.
How would they provide internet?
Their internet, the internet would still remain with Charter.
Oh.
Okay,
So
so we'd still have that $70 a month flat rate fee. It's the phone where the biggest savings are. And I don't know whether you're aware, but the phones, again, these phones are maybe 2 years old. They have been replaced about every 2 years for as long as I can remember. They just don't hold up under the beating that they take at the office. And what they're talking about is a phone system that is more professional. The fax, by the way, would be tied into the copy machine rather than the other. The old machine could then be retired, and it would free up some space. So it's up to you guys, of course, and I'm sure you would probably want to see what the contract and the documents are. I just met with him today, so I hadn't had a chance to put it on the agenda or anything, so I'm perfectly happy with it.
Are you looking for a motion?
Well, I was looking for a motion to have me, have the authority to sign
This contract.
the
You put
contract.
that in there.
I don't, to me, that's always been kind of odd here. I mean, you're
Yes.
the administrator of the city, and as long as you are presenting to us, you're responsible for many things. I don't have a problem with you signing contracts in general. I just like to look at them sometimes because that was my background. But with these kind of people, the terms and conditions are typically, not it's written by some lawyer for them, and to try to change any of them would be, not worth our time. So I don't have a problem with you signing those contracts for ongoing utilities and things like that. I consider this kind of a utility issue. So I have no problem with it. Anything else?
I have no problem with it either. I think you've done your research and,
And if it doesn't save the money, we just take it out of your check.
I gotta tell you, there's not much there either.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
But that's not your fault.
That isn't gonna work.
No, that one's it's sending all these checks to these other people that
I'd
can't.
like to make a motion then to have our city administrator have the authority to go ahead and sign that contract to get us into a new communications contract.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who was the
It passes.
second? Thank you.
Thank you. Go to the order. Councilman Orr?
Nothing tonight? Thank you.
No?
No?
Duke?
Good.
My time job was about as good as I can come up with.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Right.
All right, Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for all coming. Don't forget, those of us who need to be fingerprinted over here, which kind of gives me the chills, but that's past memory. Thank you all for coming. We stand adjourned at 6:45.
Nice job. That's 2 meetings in a row, about 45 minutes each.
And please.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the only reason they kept me at Schultz Cove, the president there was